Hello, my name is Charles Demler, and this is Project Charles Playing with Water. Anyhow, I'm going to give a brief description of the basic physics that this project goes by, or at least the major portions of this project. First, you got the structure out in the ocean. It's 20 miles in diameter, circular, heats the water up inside of it. This creates a hot area of hot, moist air. If the sun's beating down on it, it's going to heat that moisture up and cause it to rise. But if that water's hot and moist, hotter than the air that's around it, it's going to rise up anyhow, because that's what the laws of physics dictate. And if this is in the middle of a low pressure zone, and you keep the structure moving along in the middle of the low pressure zone as well, this hot, moist air that's going to rise up is going to billow out into clouds. It has no other choice. In a month or in a week, it's going to develop into a tropical storm and then into a hurricane. There are ways to turbocharge this effect. Now, if you had a tower system all the way up to the clouds, you can move this thing along at 100 miles per hour. And then you'd have clouds forming over it when you stopped, but you'd still have these clouds over here that would stay in the middle of the low pressure zone, and then another hurricane would form where it was previously, or a tropical system at least, probably. Now, that could be a bad thing. So what I had to do was I had to develop a way to get rid of these clouds over here so they didn't do that. And the way I did that was I figured out how to drain the clouds of their moisture. Now, the basic thing is this. You have the cloud system here, and you drag along a blimp, and then you suck the air. You have a big fan that sucks the air through it. And you have it at the point where the moisture turns into ice. So when you suck it through it, and then you let it down a long tube made of, carbon fiber material that would be 1,000 feet, long. Yes, that'd be difficult. Or you could have that ice parachuted down in self-guided parachutes. Now this would drain the clouds of most of its moisture. If you did it like that and you had enough blimps to do enough draining of the moisture. So you would just drain the clouds of its moisture. But this isn't really realistic. So basically, you can move the clouds along at 5 to 10 miles per hour away from the course that they want to go. But then the low pressure system, this is only going to work if it's like, at least a Cat 3 or a Cat 5 would work, where you have basically the hurricane is dictating the weather and it's controlling the low pressure area. So when you move the eye wall, the low pressure area moves with the eye wall. And there will be other systems off to the other side, but you'll see with a hurricane, it's able to block that off more. And it will cause the hurricane to want to move in one direction. You just got to make sure that you are able to have the fountains high enough or to have enough hot moisture to create the convection cycle to make the hurricane move where you want it to go. And then to shut it down at the end. And that's the basics of what I'm working on.